on this lovely playhouse. It really is a sign of progress. In spite of the fact that Badges has not been done in LA in 25 years, nevertheless, this is a wonderful way to bring the play back. And in such a way that you can really see the play. You know, I'm very, very happy and proud of this production. I think you captured the humor and then the drive, you know, and the relevance, I think. Unfortunately, it's still relevant in terms of the industry, and that's something that perhaps we can discuss. But it's not that things have not changed. Some things have changed. Certainly the presence of this company here and the quality of this production is a huge change. And it is something that for any playwright to be able to come back and see their work 25 years later is really gratifying. It still works. So it's a real shot in the arm for me. But in a larger sense, I'm really proud of the achievement here. Thank you, Josefina. And we're all Americans. I mean, at least those of us that call themselves Americans, consider themselves Americans, but that's not necessarily the standard. And I think that's what's wrong with Hollywood, is that they're projecting a face onto the American identity that is not true to the face of the American public as it exists now. And that's changing. The demographics are changing. The politics are changing. We have an African-American president, which I think is all great, you know, and speaks to the greatness of this country. But I think when it comes to Latinos, it's still percolating. And institutions like Harvard and Yale need to learn still, I think, to be even greater than they are and have been, by acknowledging the students that are arriving there, like Sonny, may be going through an anxiety crisis, you know, because it's a different reality. So that I had a meeting with a group of students, one group from Harvard and the other from Yale, male and female, overlooking Times Square. And I remember that the square was virtually empty because it was blizzard conditions. The lights were on, but we had this very spirited meeting overlooking Times Square, and I got to hear all these complaints from these Chicanos and Chicanas that were in Harvard and Yale, and what came through was their feeling of alienation. This was in 1982, and I remember taking that to heart, and eventually it fed straight into Sonny. Okay? In 2 years, El Teatro Campesino is going to be celebrating its 50th anniversary. 50 years of uninterrupted Chicano activism, okay, in the arts. And we're way up there in San Benito County, a little town called San Juan Bautista, still tiny little speck of a place. But we're at the mouth of the Salinas Valley, and we're still working with farm workers, okay? A lot of people would say, why don't you go someplace where you can get funded, you know? Because San Benito County broke, you know? But the fact is that we believe in the cause, you know? And I believe in the long throw. And again, 50 years is a drop in the bucket. And the one thing I learned from Cesar is that you've got to dedicate your whole life to something that you believe in. And I've been at this now for 60 years as a playwright. Well, not quite, almost 60 years. But the fact is that I see myself doing it for the rest of my life. I mean, you know, I'll be 73 this year. It makes me younger. Makes me feel younger anyway. And I love this interchange with the younger generation, people who are born in the 90s, and I expect we'll be meeting people who are born in the 2000s pretty soon, working with us. And that only feeds the pump, you know. And I think it's lovely. The continuity that I have with my family, the continuity that I have with my compañeros in the teatro who have been with me for 30 years and 40 years. These are compañeros, man. And it's a life that we have shared. And that life gets passed on to the next generation, you see. And if it's worth fighting for, it's worth living your life for. Dedicate your whole life to it. That's my, you're gonna be an artist, put your heart into it. Put your heart and soul into it. That's the only way it's gonna be meaningful.